Let's continue the setup of our volume control GUI to be able to now influence our character spine. What I also like to do before we get into naming everything and setting it up with the spine is go ahead and make sure that history is deleted on at least our first circle that we made, just to clean it up, to keep our controls as clean as we possibly can. Keep them. That keeps us having, or that gives us good habits to get into. But everything else should be fine. So that's good. So what we can do from here is select all of our curves here on the inside, select our outer curve and hit P, because we're going to want that to be parented to this. So we can move that around. Okay, great. So now that that's been done, we can also make sure that our squash and stretch GUI here, or the our label that is also parented. So we could go to the group, just select one of the letters, hit up arrow to get to the main group, and you can even check that out in the outliner. There it is, the main group. You could also select it from there if you like. But with that now selected, we'll just shift select our window and hit P. Great. So from here we can label things. Alright, for the window we can call that our GUI. Okay, so GUI underscore squash stretch underscore str 01. Okay, so we know it's our GUI squash and stretch. Great. Now for our controls, what we can do with these is go ahead and label them as follows. So this first one we could call CC for control curve underscore what it's going to control. That's going to be our spine A, followed by another underscore and followed by VOL, so we know it's our volume control 01. Hit enter. Okay, and we can copy this name, copy it and paste it, and hit enter again, and just switch our naming around so that this will now be the control for our second spine bone, or spine bone B. And then we'll do the same thing for our last, just switch the A to a C. Great. So if you notice now, this type of setup, this is also going to, well, this looks like an equalizer board, so this is going to be really cool when we go ahead and actually get this functioning properly. And again, this is just a concept. You can do any other type of control that you'd like, but again, this is just an idea to be able to influence our volume for the spine. Now for here, what we're going to be doing is controlling our volume by our translate Y. So let's go ahead and select all of those curves, and we'll get rid of everything else excluding the translate Y. We'll lock and hide selected. Goodbye. Great. Now that that's been done, what I like to do from here is go ahead and template those things that we won't want selected in our curve. So prior to that, let's go ahead and label these curves. So we can call this one our template curve, since it's going to be templated. That's TC underscore SPA for spine A underscore, we could call this our vol level 01, just so we know that's our level, that's the purpose of this curve. And then we can copy its name, paste it to the next, switch the A to a B, and then copy the name to the next, and switch the A to a C. Now to apply the template curve, we just select all of the curves that we'd like to apply them to, so that's going to be these, and even our title for this window. So we'll go ahead and find that. There it is. We'll just control click that as well. We'll right click in our channel box, and it's kind of getting cut off in the video, but we want to go down to editors, and from editors we go down to channel control. Okay, and if you wanted to, let's go ahead and close that out. We can even get there by going from window, general editors, and here it is, channel control. So there are a couple of ways, but either way we get to this window. From here we go to template, scroll all the way down, get the template, and move it over to the keyable side, and we close it out. From there we just turn on the template, simple as that. So now they're templated, but we can still see and know exactly what this window is for. From here, I'd like to go ahead and now color these curves, just so that we can easily differentiate them, especially the animator. We'll go to the first tab, go down, go to drawing overrides, turn it on, and we can give this a color of bright red if you like. Again, it's whatever you prefer, but I'm just going to go ahead and use this color scheme. I think the second one is, I think a green would look nice, and a dark green. And for the next, maybe perhaps a blue. What wonderful colors. Just joking. So now we can go to our GUI and give that a color. How about a bright yellow? I like to use bright controls so that, again, it'll help animators clearly see what they can control. Alright, so now that this has been done, what we can now do is work on having this GUI basically control our spine. So how are we going to set that up? Well, we know that we want to use our translate Y, but what we also want to make sure of is that we basically have our translate Y equal to 1 in our expression. Okay, just so we don't run into any errors dividing by 0 or any such like that. Okay, so in order for that to happen, let's go to our expression, and we will go to right before our volume. We'll hit enter a few times to go down to the next line, make a category, and call this volume control, so we know what it's for, and we'll go lines underneath that. And now here we're going to make a few more variables. Okay, now these variables, what we can call them is $SPA for our spine A underscore volume. Okay, so that's our first one. We'll hit the equals, and we'll now need to take the name of our volume switch. So for A, it's going to be, and we can use this as a reference here in our channel box if we have that selected, but it's going to be equals CC, okay, underscore SPA for bone spine A underscore vol 01. But we're not done yet. We need to tell it the translate Y of this control, okay, plus 1, again, so that our translate Y will equal to plus 1 in our expression, but not necessarily in our control, so we can still keep that zeroed out. So with that, we put our semicolon, copy this line, paste, go to the line underneath that, paste, and switch our A to B for the next line, and for the next line, B to C. Not B, but C, there we are. And that's actually A to C, there we go. So now we'll hit edit, and notice now that those have now been, a connection has now been made, so we now have our variable ready to go. So how are we going to have this influence our spine now? Well, one function I really enjoy using for this is the power function. What that allows us to do is take this quantity and multiply it by the number of quantities we have. That's how the power function works, similar to how it works in basic math. So this is really cool. What we want to do is go to our lines here, and for spine A, what we'll do is type in power, and we'll put a parentheses. And now it says, okay, the power of this, okay, we're going to take the power of this, and we're going to make sure it's controlled by our first variable for spine A. So we're going to copy that and paste it right next to it. So make sure we have power, and we'll followed by parentheses, open parentheses that is. We have our V scale, comma, then our variable. Okay, that so that our control will control the volume of that bone. And then make sure we have our end parenthesis followed by our semicolon. And once we have this, we could just copy this line and paste it to the next line down, and also to the next line down underneath that. And we switch our A, of course, to a B, and switch this A to a C. Now, watch this. Let's go ahead and double check. Everything looks fine. We'll hit edit to edit our expression. Now watch what we're able to do. This is going to be really cool. If we select our chest, move it up, okay, everything seems to be working fine. Very nice. But watch what happens if let's go ahead and select that middle guy and move it up. Notice we're going to be able to control how much this character stretches or squashes based on how we move this control. So watch this. Even though we've moved it up, he's really sinking in his stomach now. like he's trying to show off. But watch this. As we move it down, notice he's going to squash out even more. So we've actually intensified our stretch by moving this control up. So that's really awesome. So now we can go ahead and zero that out if we want to bring that back, as well as zero out our chest. Excellent. So we have established that we now have these controlling our intensity of our volume. But we have a few more things to do before we go ahead and finish this section up, so we can call this good to go. So what we'll do is stop the lesson here. In the next lesson, we'll finish the setup of our volume control.